And we're live. Hello.
Hello.
This is Lainey Davis and Liz Lincoln. We are steamy contemporary romance authors and we love sports. So today we
Definitely.
are talking about football romance with injured heroes.
Yep.
So Liz, what is it about injured heroes that you like?
I think I like that mix of, they're athletes, so you get kind of the strong alpha-esque male, but you also get that vulnerability from the injury.
Totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I love these guys that can literally pick the heroines up and carry them around like that SNL skit, but now they need to be taken care of.
Yes, yes. And we see a lot of the caregiving trope in romance where like the heroine is sick and the hero takes care of her. And I like sort of flipping that and having the heroine taking care of the hero.
I love it too. And whenever there's somebody who's sick, it never ends up being that like the other partner catches it, and that's so
Yeah,
unrealistic.
yeah, I know.
I can't get past it, but an injury is not
Contagions are a
contagious.
thing.
Yeah. So the first book I want to talk about, Football with an Injured Hero, is your re-release Delay of Game. And before we say anything else about it, I need to share with all the world that I listened to it on audio. And if you look it up like on Hoopla, it still has its old name, Swagger. But the narrator, the male narrator you picked is Jacoby Diem, who is the
Yeah,
guy who does most of Kennedy Ryan's books. I could listen to
awesome.
him read the phone book and I would drool.
Yeah. I'll have to go pick up some of Kennedy Ryan's books on audio because I've only read them in ebook. Um, so yeah,
Oh gosh.
we'll listen to
I've
her.
I've almost become an exclusively audio reader, so I'm starting to know all these narrators and I was listening to this wonderful wounded football hero and I was like, I know that voice. um what was I going to say? Oh, I was going to ask you a little bit about the book. It just came back out for
Mhm.
everybody to
Yep.
enjoy last week. And,
Yes.
why don't you tell us about it?
Well, it's Marcus is a tight end, and he injures his ACL, tears his ACL, which is a pretty common sports injury that takes you out for a whole season. And he does that in the preseason. I was actually inspired, kind of got that idea um, way back years ago when Jordy Nelson still played for the Packers. He
Uh-huh.
tore his ACL in preseason, and I was like, "Ooh, that'd be a good line in a book." And then at the same time, another storyline that was sort of going on with the Packers was that Randall Cobb had he'd left college early to do the NFL draft. So in the off seasons, he was working on finishing his degree, and it was a big deal when he graduated and stuff. And I was like, well, I could combine sort of those two storylines and have my hero who is out for the season go back to school and finish his degree while he is rehabbing. So that's
Yeah.
how you come up with the story that is Delay of Game. And
Yep.
then the heroine is a physics PhD student. So it's a hot for teacher kind of thing, but with a little different element because he's a celebrity and he's actually a couple years older than her. So um,
Yeah.
and picked physics because my husband has a master's in physics and he's ABD, all but dissertation, for the PhD. And so we were together when he was in grad school. So I knew all kinds of physics grad students. And there was a professor that called me an honorary physics grad student, which I
Uh,
found fun because I took one undergrad physics class. And um, yeah, but so that's why physics.
I love that your book straddled pro football and college sports romance, which I,
Mhm.
usually they have a very different feel about them. And I love how you were able to navigate both in that book.
Thank you.
And it's so timely right now. I don't know if everybody is watching Lessons in Chemistry, which is not a romance, but it really deals with women in academia in STEM and what they were experiencing in the 50s, which hasn't changed that much today, 70
Ooh.
years later.
No, I was good friends with a couple of the women in the physics grad program, and yeah, they had a very different experience than my husband.
Yeah. So I definitely think everybody who is interested in injured heroes and women in academia should check out Delay of Game, or if you're on Hoopla, Swagger.
Yeah, I believe it's also Swagger on like Audible.
Okay.
Um, and it's I think it's on like Apple iTunes books and stuff. So um, basically, the audiobook is still Swagger because it came out with the old release of the book. But I re-released the ebook as Delay of Game.
Yeah, which is a great title. Because his game is delayed, guys. He's injured.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Uh,
that was nerdy.
so I also wanted to talk about Lainey's book with a an injured hero, and I am so bad at titles, and I did not write it down. Tell us the title of it. I just I
Well,
just read it.
yeah, it's Deep in the Pocket.
Deep in the Pocket.
A
Thank you. I'm so sorry.
No
Um,
worries.
that's just my brain. I
Well,
don't remember titles. But Deep in the Pocket is a college football romance. The hero has injured his
his
knee.
ACL.
Oh my god! I listened to it this weekend. You'd think I would remember better. Okay, I have serious memory flaw. We'll blame the
Oh,
ADHD.
it's the same plot as yours.
And the heroine is a statistics person. She wants to go into health statistics, but because her dad was a football coach, she knows football statistics up and down, back and forth. So she is in a statistics class with the hero, and they get paired up for a project, and romantic
Isn't
hijinks ensue.
Yeah.
They get
Isn't it a
together.
coincidence they got
Yeah,
paired together?
yeah, of course. Um,
So that book, there wasn't like a real life football player whose injury inspired that for me. But when I was in college, I was a nerdy smart girl, and there was a hockey player in my class, and he was like always crutching around, coming in late, leaving his crutches on the ground, and I had to work with him for all these projects. I did not get involved with him romantically, but I did think a lot about what that injury meant to him, outside of class. So
yeah,
that's where the hero came from. And, the heroine, I was a smart girl in college, like I
yep,
said, a lot of us were. And
yep,
there's a lot of college sports romance where the heroine is the tutor or
yep,
project
mhm,
partner.
yep, yeah. It is not a cliche, but a well done trope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's fun because there's so much you can do about it or do with it.
yeah. And I love how, I mean, you and I had no idea when we recommended each other's books that we had like these same sort
Yep.
of plot points, but we both took it so differently. Like
Mhm.
yours, the advisor guy is just terrible, just.
Yeah.
Um, and in mine, he's kind of a predator, and
Yep.
I'm noticing all sorts of patterns in my work about
Yes, you have something to say
predators,
about that.
predators, injured heroes.
Yep.
um, yeah, I mean that's kind of the main gist of my book and your book, I think.
Yeah.
Liz and I were working on a list of other football romance with injured heroes, and most of what we came up with is in Kindle Unlimited. So our
Mhm.
wide readers out there might not be able to access these titles.
No, you can still get them. You can still get the ebook. You just have to purchase it instead of using KU.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You have to purchase it from Amazon. That's right.
Yep.
Um, but the first one is The Hookup by Kristen Callahan. And that one is another knee injury, I think. Um, a lot of these blend together for me.
I know. I know.
Um,
There's so many, and they all are like, oh, I read another football romance and another football romance, and what was this one?
and yet I love all of them. They just fill
Yes.
this like need for me in the fall when football is everywhere.
See, for me, it's like in the spring to get my
Okay.
football fix
Okay.
when it's the off season.
Well, and if anybody has known Liz and I for a minute, we're way into soccer and that's kind of
Yeah.
just wrapped up. So I need
Yep.
something else to
Although
talk
they just dropped the roster for the December friendlies.
about. Ooh, we'll have to
I
check
think I
that out in
texted it
another
to you.
episode. You did, but
Okay.
our readers didn't see that. Our
No,
viewers, our listeners.
no. You can go check it out at ussoccer.com.
Yeah. Another football book, Injured Hero, is Somebody Like You by Carrie Elks. And what I think is fascinating about Carrie is that she is British. She lives in England. Her books are all set here. And American football is starting to have a presence in the UK, but like she's coming
Yeah.
at this with a
Yeah.
researcher outsider perspective.
Interesting. I haven't read that one. I don't know her name. I'll have to look into her. It's
She's
kind of a new
lovely.
angle on it.
Yeah. And then I know you have this one on your list, Beauty and the Baller by Ilsa Madden Mills.
Yep.
And
I love the cover. It's
it's such a
clever
great
and
cover. It's that
yeah,
one with the yellow dress. So it's like
yep,
the bell
yep.
and then the blue text, like Beast's
And she's
suit.
got that blue high heel on,
Oh, yeah.
resting on the football.
Yeah. And I mean, what else do you need to know? It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. He
With
injured himself, actually not playing football. His injury is from a car accident, and that happens kind of like right at the beginning of the book. It's not a spoiler. Um, and it's a career-ending situation for him. So a
okay,
lot of the book is about him coming to terms with life after sports.
yeah.
I love
Yeah,
that
and
element.
I think a lot of the, injured athlete, romances do have that element in them because even if it's not career ending, you never know. Like,
Hmm.
your ACL may not heal properly. Like, it might heal properly for you to go about regular life, but you might not be able to get back on the field, and,
Right.
um
And be one of those like elite athletes.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And then as I'm looking through my catalog, I have so many books. My other football romance, Possession, Injured Hero, and
Nice.
that one that the heroine is works in the physical therapy, like she's one of the athletic trainers.
PTs, sure.
So,
Yeah, I do have On the Line, which is the first one in my football series. He in the book, he's dealing with sort of a chronic injury that he can still play through, and he is out for a few weeks with it, but it's the kind of thing, he's out 3 or 4 weeks, but he still plays the rest of the season, because those in-season injuries actually, both my soccer books 2 and 3, again, they have in-season injuries that aren't season enders, um, but they're out for a while,
yeah,
because injuries are just so common for athletes.
it's so true. And and they play so many games and
Yeah,
they have such little recovery time in between. So
yeah,
it's the human body can only do so much.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that was our not exhaustive list of football romance with injured heroes. We're going to put all the links to the books we talked about down below in the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, please do make sure and hit that thumbs up button so that we know that information.
And
And you can,
also, oh, sorry. I was going to say, if you have a favorite injured athlete romance, stick it in the comments. We'd love to check out more.
oh, yeah, for sure. It's kind of like a catnip for me right
Yeah.
now. So you can find Liz Lincoln online at lizlincoln.com.
And you can find Lainey at laineydavis.com.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.